Evening, ladies and gents, how are you doing? Let's have a look what fresh hell Starmlin's Britain's thrown up for us today. Typically, it involves the police force brutalising people. Why would today be any different? Top story on X today is a mother arrested for confiscating children's iPads, with relevant people being Surrey police there. It says Vanessa Brown, a 50-year-old history teacher, was arrested by Surrey police on suspicion of stealing 2 iPads belonging to her daughters. Brown had confiscated the devices to encourage her daughters to focus on their homework, and she was held in custody for 7.5 hours. I was desperately hoping, that this was the AI throwing up some false information. You know, some trite clickbait that wasn't actually true. But it turns out it is, because of course it is. It's 2025. I know Indian giving is discouraged, but honestly, parents buy everything for the children. You can't tell me it's theft if a mother buys iPads for her kids and then takes them back. They aren't yours, you little shit. I don't know what the kids were thinking, but that's another story. Anyway, let's find a reputable newspaper, if one exists, and get to the bottom of it, shall we? I'm going to go with my gut though and think that yes, it definitely is true. I'm going to go with my gut though and assume that one of the arresting officers, at least one, was a 5'1", critically disabled roller lesbian with a cleft palate and a gammy hand. Alright, here we are, it's even on the Times. Mother arrested for theft after confiscating an iPad from her daughters. Vanessa Brown, 50, describes the traumatic incident when police held her in a cell for several hours. And look at that picture. It's alarming to know that I'm gazing into the eyes of a ruthless abuser. May as well be looking at a picture of Harold Shipman there. A mother of 2 has described her unspeakable devastation and trauma after being arrested for confiscating her children's iPad. Vanessa Brown, 50, spent 7.5 hours in a cell on March 26th after it was claimed she had stolen 2 iPads. It turned out that the 2 devices, which had been tracked to her mother's house in Cobham, Surrey, belonged to her daughters. Brown, who is a history teacher, had merely confiscated them to make them do their schoolwork, something police have since conceded. I find it quite traumatic even talking about this now, Brown recalled. Vanessa, the British police are as bent as an £8 note. When my old fellow was in the cells one night, they let themselves in at 2 o'clock in the morning to give him a good going over with a truncheon, and then just told the judge he fell over some loose carpet in the station. You got off lightly, love. You got off lightly. 7.5 hours in the cell. If they nicked me, I'd spend 24 hours in the cell, and 12 of them I'd have a very large truncheon stuffed into a very, very tight place. At no point did they, the officers, think to themselves, oh, this is a little bit of an overreaction for a moment. Confiscating her iPads and popping over to her mum's to have a coffee, it was a complete overreaction. It was thoroughly unprofessional. They were speaking to my mother, who is in her 80s, like she was a criminal. Yes, because they don't employ people that are suitable to be police officers. They don't employ ex-Marines and paratroopers and burly squaddies who aren't scared of their own shadows. They employ people who have right opinions. You have to be a political ideologue to be a policeman nowadays. The only decent coppers, the tiny amount of decent coppers that remain, are all the old sweats who joined up in the 80s. The people they employ now are true believers. True believers, they are certain as an ISIS fighter, as certain as the people that will happily immolate themselves to badly make a point. They are certain that they have the right of every issue. They are 100% convinced, and they never get pricked by the conscience that when they're haranguing a 50-year-old woman and her 80-year-old mother, they're doing the right thing. Because they're policing thought and deed and wrongthink. And that's all they're there for. Common sense doesn't even enter into a modern copper's head. And if a logical thought does penetrate the tit helmet for half a second, they'll take them for re-education, like good little commies. Brown was taken to Staines police station where she was searched, had her fingerprints and custody shots taken before being placed in a police cell for several hours, LBC reported. Surrey police sent officers to a children's school and pulled her daughter out of a lesson, and the situation was made worse when she learned of the conditions of her bail, which would have prevented her from seeing the children on Mother's Day. Well, hang on, there's one fishy detail of this story. What do you want to see the kids for on Mother's Day? The little twats just got you locked up for 8 hours. I'd only want to see my kids on Mother's Day if I was going to lash the bum cheeks 200 times with my mother's walking stick and then put them on the naughty seat for 12 hours. What? Who wants to see children that are that entitled to think they can ring the bobbies on their own mother for confiscating property that she bought for them in the first place? Vanessa told LBC she had suffered sleepless night and been in a catatonic state by the experience. There has been an increasing concern over how officers are using their time after a couple from Borehamwood were arrested by Hertfordshire police following their criticism of a local school on a parent's WhatsApp chat. Yeah, and I covered that one last week. Brown echoed the concern after her arrest. They were able to send a police car with coppers to my children's school, send another police car or two to arrest me. I know people are making reports of thefts, of assaults, of violent crimes, and they're not getting a response for days. Can't get to the bottom of why it was done in such a quick turnaround, less than an hour, all these police cars and police officers going to address over a false report of a theft. Amazing. The modern copper is living in cloud cuckoo land. They address nothing the general public care about and everything they don't. When it comes to something nobody gives a single shite about, they're all over it like white on rice. It's actually unbelievable. So, just another day in Comrade Starmlin's dystopian nation. It's awful. It's Stalin-esque is what it is. They'll beat you senseless for littering while ignoring the foreign-born machete wielder, claiming it's, they'll get off on a technicality so they don't have to look into it. They do this because they like the easy jobs, don't they? They don't want to tackle a 6'2" Somalian pirate with a machete, but they do want to go and talk to a 7-year-old and rough up a pensioner. That's what we're doing. So we need to bin them all. Peter Hitchens is right. Sack the lot of them. Pull the police force apart. Well, it's not called that anymore. Problem wasn't there when we had the police force. Pull the police service apart, root and branch, brick by brick, get rid of the lot of it, let the army fill in for like 12 weeks so they can train a load of new coppers and hire a bunch of people who are actually willing to do the hard work, which is pound the streets on the beat, arresting scary, hairy men and ignore all the middle-class parents who don't cause any real harm to anybody. That's what the public would like to see. Is it going to happen? No. Because you'd like it. So we can't do that. This is modern Britain. We just do the exact opposite of everything you want all the time. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents as usual. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back for a live stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK. Be there or be square. All right, see you tomorrow. Have a good Friday night. Toodle pip. Cheers.